5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of The Rogue Way. Today is January the 13th, 2019. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I hope you're having a good new year. Okay, it's 2019. I just wanted to take a minute. First of all, let me step back for a second and apologize if you listened to last night's audio episode, which is only on Podbean. Guys, the sound was horrible. I apologize. But after I listened to it, there was so much that I wanted people to hear what I said. I just kind of said, you know what, the sound's bad. There's a couple of minutes to where you can't hear anything. But what you can hear needs to be heard. I don't really want to re-record it because it loses, some of the, I guess, effectiveness, when you re-record something. I try to just do it off memory versus how I'm feeling. So I let it go. The sound's horrible, but check it out on Podbean. It's last night's episode. I think I entitled it The Wall, The Trump, and something else. So check it out on Podbean, listen to it. And I'm probably going to carry over and talk some more about that stuff today. I know I've been talking about it a lot, but there's just a lot to say because I think this has a lot to do with the political environment we're in, especially Operation Divisive, which is what I call it. And I don't want to go in left field, but I do want to hit something real quick on that. I just want everyone to think about this, and I'm going to get back to the point of this show. Doesn't it seem like every few months or every year there's a new theme to make the left and right hate each other? Every year, 1 year it's police issues. The next issue it was then is immigration, the war, whatever. There's always going to be some issue that the media is going to put all over the place and try to keep everyone hating each other and just divided. Anyway, it's something to think about. And I may get back more into that in a minute, but right now I want to go back to what I want to talk about today. And I want to start off with, this is the Rogue Way. And I want people to understand that that's not just some, random title that I used because I think it sounds cool. There's purpose behind this show. We have a message. And that message is... people always say you're not alone. Well, I got news for you. Sometimes you're alone, and that's okay. All right? There's a message, there's a lie out in society, there's a myth that you're not alone. You're never alone. And someone's always there. Or that you need to be part of something. You need to be, you need to have friends. You need to be in a relationship. You need to be in a group. You need to be in a tribe. And those things are great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was raised. I would say I was raised. A lot of times when I say raised, I'm talking about my career, and that's just kind of a military thing where I'm from. That we use that term a lot. I was raised doing this, and I'm talking about a military career. Usually, not talking about my actual being raised. But in my military career, I come from a long life career of that culture of that team culture, and that's. And I still believe in that, for that purpose. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, be alone, or that, you shouldn't be alone. I'm just saying that it's okay. All right. Lie number one. You're never alone. That's a lie. Sometimes you are alone. You can be alone. You can be alone even with people. But there is a place in our lives where we're going to look around us and realize that we are standing by ourselves. Now, sometimes that's easier when we are physically alone. It's harder when there are people beside us. Because being alone doesn't mean that you're not in proximity of other people who are in your lives. Being alone means that in your life, on your journey, that there's really no one helping you, contributing to you, or being an active part of your life. One of my biggest things is I like to pull people in. Because I've always been in a team, this is one of the hardest things for me that I had to learn, and I'm still learning not to do. But one of the hardest things was, I'm used to being surrounded by a team, and I've always felt like that's what I'm supposed to have a team. I'm supposed to be part of a team, and whether I'm leading it or following, I'm supposed to be in a group. I'm supposed to be surrounded with a pack. And when I want to do something fun or when I want to start something, I have a huge tendency to try to pull people in, to include people in what I'm doing. And I think that that's a good idea because number one, I'm trying to be inclusive. I don't want to be alone necessarily in this endeavor. I want people to be part of it with me. And my dog is flipping. I'm just having the worst time trying to record. It's okay. There'll probably be more of that. But there is a desire for me to have I've always tried to pull people in. And a lot of times what I get is people say, okay, but they're not involved. And that's rough. Because especially when people say, I'm gonna, I'll give an example. Let's say you plan a party or in a group, and you're excited about doing it with a bunch of people. So you invite some people, and they say, "Yeah, I'll be there." And as you're planning it, no one really wants to contribute. No one really wants to help. When you bring it up, they're just kind of like, "Yeah, just let me know what I need to do." That type of stuff, And you feel like you're alone. That's an example. There are people who feel alone in their marriage. There are people who are alone in their marriage. There are people who are alone in relationships, in their families, in their workplace. Even though there are actual people standing around them, the fact of the matter is that they are standing there alone. No one is really involved in their life, in their perspective, in their, what they're doing. And that is sometimes the most lonely place to be. Okay. Then there's when you are physically by yourself. I mean, you may be in a new town. You may not know anyone. Maybe you just don't like people. Maybe people don't like you. Whatever. You're just alone. And it's easy in any of those situations to feel defeated, to feel like, I am not where society says I should be. I look around, I look on television, I listen to the radio. I mean, everything's, everything. Music, you have groups, actors and musicians who are, supposedly, doing their own careers, like solo artists. They still have this entourage. And you look and there's families, you come out of the holiday seasons and everything's about families and there's groups. And then you get into, some of the, spring and summer times, and everything's sports, and you see all these groups of friends going and enjoying this and doing these trips, and you see games and the baseball games, or even in the fall, football, basketball, whatever it is, team sports. Everywhere you look, it's groups of people, and then you're sitting there and you're going, I'm all by myself, and you feel defeated. You feel like you're wrong. You feel like that something's broken, that you're broken. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with that. You have purpose, and your purpose right now is to be alone. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that is ordained, that God has put you alone. Maybe He has. Maybe you don't believe in God. Maybe you do. Whatever. Maybe God put you there. Maybe God didn't. Maybe it's just circumstance. So you may not have an ordained reason to be alone, but you can find purpose in being alone. Find it. Own it. Some of the greatest things that you can do in your life, you will do when you free yourself from the false obligation in your head that you have to have others with you to do it. That you have to have, because with that comes their approval. When you feel like you have to have other people with you, a lot of times you feel like you need their approval. When you feel like you need to be in a relationship, you often feel like you need the approval of that other person, or you need, you attach baggage to who you are that, number one, may not even really want to be there, and number two, you don't need it. When you find purpose, you will be a magnet. People will come to you. They will want to be a part of you because they will see that purpose and they will envy that purpose. And then you can decide whether or not you want them in your life or in your project or not. You will inspire people to stand with you, or you will decline and say, no, this is my journey, and I want to, and I want to continue it the way it is. But here, we offer inspiration for you to understand that not everything is a team sport. And a lot of what I criticize is because of this team sport obligation. Politics. Politics, is by cultural definition a party, thing. Okay, we have Republicans, we have Democrats, we have other parties. In other countries of the world, they have hundreds of parties, and these parties have recruited you indirectly. They've basically pulled you into something and lied to you and made you believe that you have to adopt and accept everything that they say. It's ridiculous. Nobody wants you to think for yourself and to look at politics and to look at governing and to look at the state of our country and the issues at hand just as that, as issues. No one wants you to look at things issue to issue. They want you to sign on the dotted line that you are with this person and you're against this person. And the next thing you know, you're all over social media and all you are doing is trolling and laughing and calling people stupid because they don't believe the way you believe, because they don't have your perspective, because they don't have the same type of education that you have. Then you have been drawn into that team sport mentality, and now you're basically attacking everyone that's not wearing your colors. Blue and red, Democrats and Republicans. It's damn near like the Bloods and the Crips these days. Is it not? I mean, the only thing that's different is we're not physically killing each other yet. But how far are we from that if things continue the way they are? I looked at Facebook yesterday, and there are people on there who are saying the most ridiculously ignorant things I have ever read, mainly calling other people stupid just because they don't share the same educational experience that they do. You have people with PhDs who you would think would have some freaking level of maturity saying shit like, are all Trump supporters is stupid? Are all Trump supporters uneducated idiots? Or do any Trump supporters have anything besides a high school education? As if a high school education is something that someone should be ashamed of. You're the party that's supposed to be accepting of people and encouraging people, and you're just looking for different reasons to be bigots. And I'm sorry, you know what? That's not a party thing. I'm going to apologize on that. That's not necessarily a party thing. That's just an asshole thing. And that has nothing to do with, people of both parties do this, but that is an individual punk-ass move, and it's not the fault necessarily of the party. The party shouldn't be encouraging this and allowing it, and people should step in and say, listen, Republicans and Democrats are leaders in those parties. Elected officials should step up and say, stop this, but they're not. And for that, they're the assholes. But when you are claiming to be educated, in a sense enlightened because of your PhD or whatever the hell you have, and your argument that other people are stupid because they don't have the same type of education you do, or to the degree of education you do, that's stupid. All right? But I don't think that someone who says that even knows what the fuck they're talking about. I'll give you, okay, so let me ask those people this. There are other ways to get educated in this world aside from a traditional university. Now, obviously, if you go to most traditional universities, they're going to lean to the left. They're going to be liberal in universities for the most part. Most of your professors, most of your academia is very liberal. So by that measure alone, most conservatives probably haven't been to college, because most of your college graduates are going to be liberals. Now, I'm not saying that conservatives don't go to college. I'm just saying I don't know what the numbers are. That's my guess. Somebody changed my mind on that. Send me some numbers. I'm curious to know how many college graduates these days are conservative in comparison to how many are liberal. So that has nothing to do with intelligence. That's indoctrination. Now, where are a lot of your blue collar? What are a lot of your blue collar tradesmen? What are they? Most of them, I would guess, send me some numbers if I'm wrong, but I would guess that they're probably mostly conservatives. So, your military, what's the majority of the military? Conservatives. So, someone leaves high school and they go into the military and they continue their education for 2, 4, 6, 8, 20 years, doing some of the most challenging, mentally and physically, work you could ever imagine. They're also going to training all the time. It may be something closer to vocational training. In a lot of cases, it is closer to traditional college. But their work alone is very advanced technically. And I'm not just talking about military or soldiers, sailors, or airmen, or whoever that are turning wrenches on aircraft. I'm talking about guys who are operating with rifles. Look, I'm telling you something. Look at the numbers. From a lot of your infantry, a lot of your troops, college educated. All right, they volunteered to go to the military. They volunteered to go infantry. They volunteered to be a ranger. They volunteered to be special forces. They volunteered to be a SEAL. And these are occupations to where you have to be intelligent to get a 110 GT score, I believe, on the ASVAB. Military guys know what I'm talking about. There are standards, and that's just to get in the door. And then they're being introduced to equipment that your PhD, you would never have probably any concept. You have a PhD in psychology, whoop-de-fucking-do. So you're intelligent in your world, take you out of your world and put you in my world, and you're an idiot. You're not educated. You're the one that's uneducated in my world. The difference is, in your world, you would just make fun of people and call them stupid. In my world, you would get chewed up and spit out, mentally and physically. You have no idea. And that's the military. Let's talk about trade. Let's talk about technicians. Let's talk about people who build things. Let's talk about iron workers. Let's talk about construction. All right, management. These things. Are you saying they're not educated because they didn't go to, whatever university, that they're stupid? Are you kidding me right now? They are highly educated. And by the way, they're doing work that physically matters. A dollar bill is worth $1 as long as we say it is. But the moment everything collapses, that dollar is just a piece of paper, and the only thing it's good for is building a fire. Do you know how to build a fire? You don't. So you have no idea. That's an example of someone who is educated in trade, who actually knows how to physically contribute to this world. And you're up there calling them stupid? I call you stupid. All right. So, you went to college, you got brainwashed, and you think that your abilities, your PhD is worth more than it is. Okay. A friend of mine, and I have nothing against PhDs. I'm, awesome. But just don't be an asshole about it. Okay. Be proud of what you've done. Keep it in your field, and don't call everyone else stupid, and don't treat everyone else like you're stupid. The co-host of this show, Greg Boris, he has a PhD, okay? And by the way, he's a Trump supporter, but, according to you, that they don't exist, right? Where did he come from? They're out there. He's a tenured professor. Okay? He says something. He says when the apocalypse happens and everyone's running to the store to stock up on supplies, he's going to the library to get the information. And that is a very good idea. Okay? I get that. But I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people out there who have the information they need to survive, and they're going to go to the store and get supplies because they're going to need to put their knowledge into action. Okay, there are people out there who have actionable intelligence, and I'm not talking about, typically that word is used for military intelligence, all right, but I'm actually talking about there's people who have actionable intelligence. They can take their minds, what they have learned, and they can build something, contribute something that's real, that matters. Okay? They're not like the gold of culture. Gold's great, it's worth a lot of money until no one gives a shit about it because it can't provide shelter for you, it can't provide food for you, it can't, until that happens, no one cares about it. Being pretty and having this beautiful piece of paper on your wall and being able to sit behind a desk and make fun of people and call them stupid because they're not of your political affiliation and because they don't have similar education than you, you're going to be the idiot in that world. In my world, you're stupid. But here's a crazy thing. In my world, we are open to training you. Okay, we are appreciative of this, and we don't walk around calling everyone stupid, all right, just because they don't have the technical skills that we may have. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure it happens, but it doesn't happen very often. All right, so that's my perspective on assholes like that. And the problem with most of you are that do this. And like I said, this isn't about liberals or conservatives. This isn't about PhDs or this is about assholes. This is about people that I've read. Let me tell you something. You get away with that shit because you haven't been bitch slapped by a welder. Okay? You haven't had you haven't had a forester come and punch your ass out for saying stupid shit like that. Re-educating you. We have entered a world to where people have forgotten the consequences of disrespecting others. All right? It kind of goes back to what I was talking about with with Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya. When Oscar De La Hoya said he wanted to fight Dana White, and everyone said, "Oh, that's just stupid. That's so childish." Whether or not you agree with what Dana White said about Oscar De La Hoya or not, when you're on television all day long just blasting somebody, calling them stupid, calling every name in the book, I personally think, yeah, they have a right to want to knock you out. Okay, so I think we need to get back to that. If we were doing that now, then the violence that we're about to get into probably wouldn't happen because now everything's repressed, and now everybody's dealing. They press it down, Next thing you know, shit pops off, and we have riots. And we have shooters and we have everything else, and we're targeting the wrong stuff. What we should be targeting is punks in our culture. So that's where I'm at on that. Look, the Rogue Way is real simple. Okay, it's okay to be alone and it's okay to speak your mind. Figure out where you're at. You don't owe anyone shit. I don't owe conservatives anything, all right? I don't have to agree with every damn issue. I don't have to agree with a wall just because I'm a conservative. I don't have to. Maybe I like my guns and maybe I don't like walls. All right? Maybe I like small government. I want my guns. Maybe I am a pro-life person, a pro-gun person, and I just don't believe in walls. I'm not less of a conservative because I don't agree with every issue. Or maybe my mind just hasn't been changed yet. Maybe no one's given me the information, or I haven't found the information that puts me on that side of the wall. But this is the Rogue Way. You can come on this show as a Democrat. You can be my friend as a liberal, as a Republican. I don't owe party lines shit. I have no effing problem admitting that I have plenty of liberal friends who I like. I have conservative friends who I like, and you can call me what you want. I consider myself a conservative. I'm conservative on most issues, but just because I'm conservative on most issues doesn't mean I can appreciate someone else's perspective and talk to them in a conversation where maybe I can change their mind. Look, most people's minds aren't going to be changed. All right, someone told me the other day, and I need to look this up, that there has been studies that most people's minds are not going to be changed. Okay? So maybe the best that we can hope for is some understanding. But as long as we're sitting around and calling people stupid because they aren't like us, and then claiming to be tolerant, we're not going to get that. I don't know. I don't have the answers for America. I don't have the answers for your personal life. All I know is it starts with knowing yourself. It starts with putting yourself in a place, pushing everything out of the way, figuring out who you are, what you stand for, and fucking owning it. Starts there. All right? Hashtag rogue as fuck. Own that shit. I'm here for you. I want to hear from you. We want to encourage you. We will respond to your messages. All right? Hit us up on social media. Let us know how's it going. Send us links. Talk to us. You disagree with something I say, shoot me a link. I'll read it. I'll probably even talk about it, maybe even talk about it on here. I'm okay with that. I may invite you to come here and talk with us, whatever. All right, but it starts with not being afraid to stand apart, to stand on your own. So I hope that what I've said here resonates with you. I hope it gives you strength and inspiration, especially if you're going through a rough time. I know veterans, when you come home and you enter this world and that camaraderie, that brotherhood that you knew doesn't exist, even among the people who claim that it does, even among some of the police departments or organizations that you might gravitate towards, and you get there and you expect it to be the same and it's not, and you feel it rips at you and it pulls you down. All right, when you try to offer your expertise and your knowledge and you try to be an asset and people just shun you, it hurts. And you realize and you start to feel, maybe you start to feel alone. That's okay, be alone. Go back to what you do and do it. You don't need approval of anyone else. Focus on your physical fitness. Focus on your range time. Stay deadly. Stay healthy. Stay smart. Get back on the reading list. Read, train your mind, train your body. Okay? I'm a Christian. I'm not afraid to admit that. Train your soul. Okay? Get into church. Don't base your spiritual path on the hypocrisy of others. It doesn't matter. This is about you getting where you need to be, and once that happens, you'll find your path. God will give you your path. It'll be in front of you. You'll discover whatever. You will find purpose. Purpose will come to you. I can't guarantee it's going to be in a group. I can't guarantee it's going to be the way you want it to, but you will find purpose. You will find meaning, and you will overcome. And when you do that, you will proudly wear the Rogue Way in your heart, maybe even on a badass hoodie. We need to get some hoodies, right? Need some t-shirts and shit? I think so. Hey, half an hour. I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, and we're having a good time doing this. All right. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you have a great remainder of your last day of the weekend, and we will see you, I believe, on Tuesday. We're recording on Tuesday with a pretty cool episode. So check out the feed, and you'll kind of see what that's about. Until then, from everyone here at the Rogue Way, myself, Derek, Greg, Sasha, Keith, everyone involved with the Rogue Way podcast, take care, and we'll see you soon. All right.